and welcome to Metropol Sports Center. My name is Nation Owano. In case you're wondering where you need to be during this rainy weather, I have a perfect plan for you on where you need to be and what you need to be doing. So these are some of the activities that are taking place this weekend and you need to watch out for. There's a Rugby World Cup action. As I mentioned earlier, they've reached the quarterfinal segment of the competition, and this is how the fixtures stack up this weekend. There's going to be England versus Australia, and then New Zealand versus Ireland, and then there's going to be Wales versus France, and then there was going to be the famous Springboks versus the Samurais, the Japan Samurais. That's going to be an interesting fixture to watch, considering that South Africa have really done so well in this particular competition. They have been able to reach to the quarterfinals of the competition. Another African team that has really put the continent into the map is Namibia. Namibia gave New Zealand a really tough time. Remember the first half of the game between Namibia and New Zealand, Namibia scored penalties. That was like 9 penalties. So they were ahead of New Zealand before New Zealand were able to get a couple of tries. The game finally ended 70-something. Imagine all that. That was a major comeback from New Zealand. But either way, Namibia managed to put the continent of Africa into the world. So that's a fixture that you need to watch, Japan versus South Africa. Another thing that we need to know about Japan is that in the previous competitions that they were in the Rugby World Cup, they were not performing well. But this is the Rugby World Cup, which is being held in their hometown, and they've done so well. Maybe this is something that we can learn from about what you can do to improve the sport. I mean, especially in our country, Kenya, we constantly have problems every now and then about sports development, sports improvement. Time to time, we keep losing games here and there. I mean, sometimes the reason why we lose such games is not that we do not have the potential, but it is because we have poor leadership, poor management of sports resources. That is why, that is why our sports sector in the country is suffering. I just hope one day we are going to make a transition into the sports world, and sports is going to be looked upon as a business rather than a pastime activity. Well, setting that aside, there is English Premier League action that is taking place this weekend. There's going to be Everton versus West Ham. There's going to be Aston Villa versus Brighton, Tottenham Hotspurs versus Watford, Chelsea versus Newcastle. Then there's going to be Crystal Palace versus Manchester City, and then there's going to be the major game to be watching out this weekend. Beg your pardon, is going to be Manchester United versus Liverpool. I was having a conversation with Tetei before I came to talk about Manchester United versus Liverpool, and he's putting his money for Manchester United. Let's see how it's going to pan out. But I think when we come back on Monday, as an Arsenal fan, I think the story or the narrative is going to be totally different. Talking about Arsenal, there's going to be Sheffield United versus Arsenal. The game is going to be played on Monday. As an Arsenal fan, man, how can I miss this game? Talking matters local, there's going to be Kenya Premier League action. That is Wazito versus Kakamega Homeboys. Then there's Kisumu All-Stars versus Mathare United. Let's hope Kisumu All-Stars are able to make a change, to make a difference in the games that they're going to play, because they've been losing subsequently in their previous matches. There's Zukericho versus Post Rangers, and then there's Bandari versus Chemelil Sugar, and then there's Zoya Sugar versus Sofapaka. Talking of Sofapaka, Sofapaka got a sponsorship deal from Betika on Wednesday, I beg your pardon. Betika managed to give them a sponsorship deal worth 35 million shillings. And then the other game to watch out for is Ulinzi Stars versus KCB. Just as we wrap up the Kenya Premier League action, I mean, there's a lot of challenges, financial challenges that the Kenya Premier League is currently facing. One major one is the financial constraints that the teams are currently facing at the moment. Well, Jack Oguda, the Kenya Premier League CEO, issued a statement yesterday reiterating the fact that teams need to be patient and not give up on matters sponsorship. Maybe the Kenya Premier League CEO says they are working on a deal to have sponsors come into the Kenya Premier League. And finally, the major action that has got people talking for the past 3 weeks or so, a couple of months, is the Tusker Safari Sevens. it's back this time around in Nairobi, and as a usual ground, the RFUEA grounds. This weekend you're going to be at RFUEA grounds for the Tusker Safari Sevens. How can you miss such a competition? Well, this is how the polls stack up. There's South Africa. The famous South Africans are going to be here, the Springboks. And earlier this month, the Kenya Rugby Union confirmed that it was the national sevens teams of the Springboks that are going to come for the Tusker Safari Sevens. Ugandan is going to be there, the Kenya Morans are going to be there, Burundi is going to be there, the Samurai are going to be there, there's the Western Province are going to be there, there's the Red Whalers are going to be there, and then there is Shujaa, Blue Bulls, Russia Academy, Zambia, Spain are going to be here once again for the Safari Sevens, and then there's Zimbabwe, and then 70s, and finally KCB are going to be here. Well, that's where you need to be this coming weekend. Hope you follow all the action. I hope to see you here next week, same place, same time. Do have a fabulous night. My name is Nation Owano.